Welcome everyone to Sports GI Network, and I'm previewing slash breaking down UFC 317 that's happening this upcoming weekend, International Fight Week. As usually it's the tends to be the biggest show of the year, typically now, but usually it's one of the big shows the UFC puts on throughout the year. So, and this International Fight Week still a good card. I mean, it's still a good card. I know some people complain that it's not like amazing, but and I get it. Years International Fight Week cards of the past have been better, but this is not a terrible card. But back to the four pay per view fights, like the last four. Although, and if Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov didn't pull out, and it would have been the first fight of the pay per view card, it really would have been a fantastic pay per view. But still a good pay per view though. Although I understand people's arguments that past International Fight Week cards have been better, so do want to mention that. First fight of the pay per view is Payne Talbot versus Felipe Lima, and I'm surprised. Yeah, this is not a pay per view fight. Talbot had some hype, but he lost it in his last fight. He lost to Honey Barcelos, and the way he lost too, where his grappling looked terrible, just bad grappling by Payne Tablet, bad grappling defense, and he had moments where he hit Barcelos, but Barcelos had some good, solid moments in striking as well. And with Lima's a 14-1. This is a very good fighter, Felipe Lima. And he's fought some good fighters in the UFC. Like I'm trying to remember, like he fought Muhammad Naimov at featherweight, and Muhammad Naimov is a good featherweight. Like he's one of the better unranked featherweights, and the fact that he actually beat Muhammad Naimov in his UFC debut, to me, lets me know that this guy is legit, Felipe Lima, and this is not someone to mess with. Great grappler, very good grappler too, and great takedowns, and beat Miles John in his last fight and submitted Muhammad Naimov. I was just checking to make sure. And also, fought an Octagon, which is one of the better MMA promotions outside the UFC, especially in Europe. Won their bantamweight title over there. So Felipe Lima is very good. And I think Felipe Lima is going to beat Payne Talbot just because I don't think Payne Talbot in the last 5 months or so is improved his takedown defense and grappling that much. I really don't. And now Payne Talbot can knock out Lima potentially if he catches him early, but I just don't see it. I think Lima's too good grappling, too well round. Very very elite fighter, a guy who fought a lot of good guys in the regional scene. Look at some of the guys he fought, fought some good guys in the regional scene. Now, like the guys he fought in the regional scene before getting to UFC were arguably as good. No, were better to me than Payne Talbot did going up to the region. Coming up before when Payne fought in the regional scene, and then the UFC, and then he and then etc. And Payne Talbot he has talent, but I just feel like the grappling he needs to work on. I just don't think he's had enough time to work on his grappling to beat someone like Diego Lima. I mean Felipe Lima. I think Lima's gonna have a huge advantage going into that fight. And I just think he's gonna, grapple, take down Payne Talbot, and just do a lot of work there. Do I think he finishes him? No, I think he wins by decision. Limo the grappling. I don't think Payne has enough time. I think this is bad. This is terrible. We were told Payne to take this fight, did a terrible job. He should have fought somebody who has solid grappling, but not to the level of Felipe Lima, and just built and work his way up to where as he work on his takedown defense and grappling. But yeah, I got Felipe Lima by decision. From that fight to the next fight, which is in the lightweight division between Renato Moicano and Beneil Dariush. I was really tempted to pick Renato Moicano because Dariush hasn't fought since December 2023 and he got knocked out brutally by Arman Sarukian. And I get Dariush is older. He's what, 36, I remember? How old is he? He's 36. Yeah, he's 36. So he is older, but Renato Moicano is not a spring chicken either. When you think about it, Moicano is also 36, and and Dariush he's on a 2-fight losing streak, but it's to Arman Sarukian and um and Charles Oliveira, the two of the three best lightweights in the world. So yeah, he's on a losing streak, but it's to the top of the top. And Renato Moicano is good, but is he up there with those guys? Probably not. And one thing those guys have that Moicano does not have is power. Those guys have the power to hurt you and drop you, and finish you. Where Moicano is not known for his punching power. He's never had a great punching power at all in his career. It was I think Jalen Turner fight was the first TKO victory he ever got. My memory serves. Yeah, it was his first TKO victory for Moicano. So Dariush, the chin's not gonna be a problem because he's had enough time to recover since then, and Moicano does not pack a powerful punch. And the grappling is pretty even because Dariush is a very great grappler. So is Moicano. They both have backgrounds in BJJ, and Dariush has great scrambles. So I just don't see Moicano taking him down, ground and pounding him like he did against Benoit Saint Denis. I mean, Gamrot couldn't take him down. If Gamrot can't, then I don't see Moicano doing it. Ain't no Moicano and Gamrot train the same gym. And I think are training partners, but still, you have that factor. I think Dariush is gonna win. I got Dariush win by decision because I think what Dariush does have pack a powerful punch, and he did drop Gamrot in their fight. And one thing about Moicano is that he is very chinny. Like he can be hurt easily, and I could totally see Dariush catching Moicano and hurting and rocking him, and Dariush using that to win the round and take control of the fight. I think it'll be a very competitive fight that Dariush will win because Dariush has power punch has more power in shots. Dariush might be the better wrestler of the two. Like I could see Dariush taking Moicano down just briefly, but then Moicano getting up because Dariush I don't know if Dariush wants to play the grappling game with Moicano. Even though Dariush is good, like I mentioned, but Moicano's pretty good in the grappling. I just think Dariush is very good, and I think he's gonna remind people how good he still is. I think he's gonna have land the bigger shots against Moicano on the feet. He's a solid striker too, so he's not like he's terrible striking. Dariush that is. I think he's a better strike. He's gonna land the hardest shots against Moicano. It's gonna can any grappling Moicano's gonna do is gonna cancel. Moicano's gonna have a hard time taking down. I think it's a better shot of Dariush taking Moicano down the opposite. You know, Moicano's got solid takedown defense for the most part, and I think he might be just a slightly better striker than Moicano, and I think Dariush is gonna win that a decision, a very competitive decision, 29-20 potentially. That's what I got. Next fight is in the flyweight division. Joshua Vince stepping in at short notice for male cap, taking on Brandon Royval. And this is a fun matchup because everyone's loved Joshua Vin. I'm starting to love Joshua Vin. This is his fourth fight in a year. Like he's had 5 fights in the last 15 months, something crazy like that. He's fighting a lot, Joshua Vin. And this guy, if he wins, will be the number one contender for the flyweight title, which is insane because Joshua Vin is 23. For those of you who don't know, and I think he's gonna beat Brandon Royval, even though he's taking on short notice. But he fought earlier in the month against Bruno Silva, finished him, but he took no damage against Bruno Silva at all in that fight. So he's fresh. He's weight. He didn't gain too much weight, so the weight cut maybe shouldn't be a problem. But we'll see about that because having to cut weight that quickly could be a problem. But we'll see. He's gonna he's taking the short quick notice, quick turnaround. He should be in shape. And what the thing is, he's a better boxer than Brandon Royval. Royval has solid striking, and he's a striker himself, but his striking is nowhere near Joshua Van in terms of his hand speed or his boxing compared to Joshua Van. Van's a better boxing, better quicker hand speed, all flyweights are quick, but it seems like Van's just a little bit quicker than some of these flyweights, if that makes sense. If you watch Joshua Van fight, and Joshua Van is and Joshua Van's head movement is a lot better than Tyra's. Like when Royval, his last fight was against Taisuro Taira, and he landed and he won because Taira gassed himself out, and Taira doesn't have great striking at all. And Royval took advantage of that and just beat him up in the striking department, and was able to survive Tyra's takedowns in the early rounds of that fight. And Royval was able to land a lot on Taira because Taira has no head movement, whereas Joshua Van has good head movement, better striking, better punching, and better striking, especially in the boxing, and his hand speed's quick, and I think he packed a punch power in his shots, so I think he will be able to rock Royval. I don't know if he'll finish Royval, but he'll rock him. Like he'll get his attention, he'll stun him. I think it will happen, and I do think if I do think Joshua Van just get a finish. It'll probably be like a late, like a second round, third round TKO. But I wouldn't surprise this also goes to decision. I do think we're gonna get a lot of decisions in this main card until the main event personally, but I could be wrong about that. I think I got Joshua Van winning by this by decision or late second, third round TKO because I think he'll just catch Royval before Royval can land. His hand speed will catch Royval before Royval can land his shots. He'll be able to get inside Royval's guard and beat him up. Great head movement, so Royval's gonna have a lot of misses, and it will leave himself open to getting countered by Joshua Van. And yeah, I think Joshua Van's about to become the next the next contender in the flyweight division, fight for the flyweight championship, which is crazy considering how young he is and how many fights he's taken. So shout out to Joshua Van. Speaking of flyweights, the co-main event's the flyweight title fight between Alejandro Pantoja and Kai Kara France. And I'm going with Alexander Pantoja. Kai Kara France is dangerous early in the first round. Well, not early in the first round. The first round entirely, he does have like 11 first round knockouts and TKOs. But the thing with Kai Kara France, he does, but it's usually against guys who don't have guys who don't offer like a wrestling threat compared to like Pantoja does. And don't get me wrong, Pantoja does leave his chin up in the air at times in the striking department, and that is worrisome. That you're thinking, and Kai Kara France can catch him and drop him and finish him. But the thing with Pantoja is that Pantoja has an elite chin, one of the best chins in flyweight. And until I see it get cracked, I'm not going to count it getting cracked. He takes shots, but not like Holloway. Like Holloway, leading up to the Ilia fight, took a lot of shots to the point where you knew eventually it was going to get cracked. Pantoja does leave his chin up in the air, but he hasn't taken like a ton of damage to the point where it's like, oh, it's only a matter of time before it gets cracked. He doesn't have that. And Pantoja has ability to mix the martial arts, where it be grappling, striking, kicking. He does have a solid kick game. And with Kai Kara France, his explosivity and like be able to throw punches. We're dealing with a wrestler who wrestles with him and pushes him back. He tends to not really like throw like those powerful haymakers that he has to knock guys out because he's so focused on obviously not getting taken down, etc. And I think Pantoja has the ability to do that and to do that. And also, Pantoja is very unorthodox with striking. That it looks like it shouldn't work, but it works. And I think he'll have to use that to his advantage to where he'll catch Kai Kara France in the striking department as well. And I think that he's gonna mix the martial arts and like dominate Kai Kara France and beat him with ease. I know some people, and I think he might be able to take down Kai Kara France. I know Kai Kara France is known for his takedown defense, which is true, but I think like Pantoja he's in his prime and he just has a way. And I feel like Pantoja, he's in his prime and he just finds ways to take guys down and do well. And he can mix, and like I say, he's gonna mix in the striking and the wrestling. I think he's gonna do that and dominate Kai Kara France and win by a decision. It could be boring at times, like there may be some stalling, but I think he'll do enough just to win. I think Pantoja is elite. Like Pantoja to me is the most underrated fighter currently in the UFC. And the fact he's not in the top 3 pound for pound is bullshit. I'm tired of the disrespect that this man gets. This guy's a great fighter, one of the best fighters in the world, and this guy does not get the respect he deserves. And he's gonna go out there and remind everyone why he's one of the best fighters in the world, why he deserves his respect. Pantoja, he's gonna win. Kai Kara France, I don't think he's gonna land the shot that drops that knocks him out. He's gonna get He's going to deal with the grappling. He's going to prevent Kai Kara France from really throwing a lot of shots. Pantoja's going to get a lot of takedowns. He's still going to frustrate the crap out of Kai Kara France with the grappling and with the clinch work and also some of the kicking as well from Pantoja might be a factor. He might throw some kicks, especially to Kai Kara France, so that way Kai doesn't throw and connect with his shots. I got so yeah, Pantoja's gonna win that fight, in my opinion, decision. And we'll transfer from that to the main event: Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria, El Matador or Leyenda or Legend. I know everyone's picking Ilia Topuria, and I understand it's Ilia, undefeated, knockout power. He has the aura, but the more I think about this fight, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Charles Oliveira is gonna beat Ilia. I've been feeling that way for a while, and I think there's a real possibility of Charles actually beating Ilia. I think a lot of people are just dismissing Charles. The fact he's a big underdog is insane. Like he should not be that big of an underdog. It makes no sense. Like, do y'all forget Charles Oliveira is? Like, I get Ilia has knockout power, great boxing. Charles does get hit a lot and get dropped in a lot of his fights. You're thinking, oh, Ilia he's gonna catch him with a combo and drop him, hurt him. That is true. And yes, Ilia does have a Greco-Roman wrestling background and has good jiu-jitsu. But this is Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira has a good wrestling, great grappling. This is probably the best. This is the best grappler Ilya's ever fought. And has Ilya ever fought a guy like Charles Oliveira who has the grappling and the striking that Charles has? Charles is probably one of the bigger opponents he's ever fought. I know Jai Herbert's taller, but Jai Herbert ain't that big. He's scrawny. And people are going to say, well, Ilya can have success at 155. Look at that Jai Herbert. That's true, but Jai Herbert is scrawny. Jai Herbert's not that good. Charles is big for lightweight. Like, he's not like a scrawny, super scrawny guy. It's not like Charles is 6'2" a lightweight. You know what I mean? Charles has that Muay Thai base style from that shooter box gym, which they're known for. And to do with someone like Ilia, who's a boxer, you gotta have to make a Muay Thai fight in the striking department, and have a Muay Thai base to do well against someone like Ilia. And Ilia only fought someone who has that capabilities like Charles Oliveira does. Volk does a little bit, but Volk is not exactly known for that like Charles is. And Volk did have some success in the first round. I thought he won round one with a jab and leg kicks. And Charles Oliveira is going to throw leg kicks. You guys like Ilia who have great boxing stance, you gotta throw leg kicks and be good at it. And you gotta throw them a decent amount, especially early on, so to stop the momentum, the boxing heavy guy, and to make it where they're easy to get hit and where they can do their offense. Charles has the ability to do that, and Charles is great in the clinch. Like, he's a strong guy. Charles is strong, so it's not like Ilya's gonna just push Charles off him like with ease, or just take him down if he wants with ease. Charles is going to go out. Charles is a strong guy. He has the great clinch work. He's going to throw knees to the gut and throw elbows and hooks, dirty boxing, something that Ilia hasn't really dealt with. And I don't know if Ilia can truly handle that, because who has really done that to Ilia when you think about it? Like, I can't recall any of his opponents doing that. Not Holloway, not Volk, not Ryan Hall, not Mitchell or Emmett, or who else? There's one more guy I'm forgetting Ilia fought. None of those guys have done that, and Charles has the ability to do that. And Charles is strong, has a great clinch work, and I think he can use that clinch work to tire out Ilia and see how strong Ilia is, and to do damage, especially knees up the gut and punches in the clinch and uppercuts, because Charles does like to throw uppercuts. It's something that he can do against Ilia. I think for people watch the Poirier and Charles fight. I know Poirier has moments in that first round, but Charles did a lot of work against Dustin, landed a lot of shots at Dustin, knees, especially all those knees to the gut of Dustin, and like did well in the clinch and use it to his advantage against Dustin, make it easier to tire him out before the grappling exchange in the second round. And I think he and I think that the Dustin blueprint is the blueprint for Charles Oliveira to beat Ilia Topuria. Make it a Muay Thai fight with the leg kicks, do a lot of clinch work, test Ilia, see how strong he is, see if you can tire out Ilia and submit him. And one thing with Ilia is that when he throws his punches, he is open to counter left hooks, and Charles does have the ability to do that. He's done in several fights. He did against Michael Chandler to win the belt back, and he did in the second fight too against Chandler. Now I know Chandler is not exactly the strike Ilya is. I understand that, but the opening is there for Charles, and I think if and Ilya, plus when it would give Ilya, a lot of guys, Ilya likes to pressure guys and go forward, and Charles said Charles also likes to pressure guys and go forward too. And Charles says he's gonna go pressure Ilya and meet him forward. I think that's gonna help Charles, knowing that, because a lot of guys tend to, like, when Ilya press forward, tend to, like, fight back, try to be defensively responsible, put yourself against the fence. In reality, it's making it easier for Ilia Topuria to do his damage. And I think the fact Charles does like to go forward and things like that, will give Ilia problems. And and the fight does go on the ground. Charles is a much better grappler than Ilia, and in terms of submission threat, I think he has the ability to give Ilia problems, and if Ilya does take him down, Ilya's not gonna do a lot of damage. I think Ilya eventually is gonna, let go of the grappling exchanges and get up, where that can help Charles avoid some of the ground and pound that Ilya probably will like to do, like he does with some of his other opponents. And I think, and I have Charles Oliveira winning by third round submission. I think he's gonna do a lot of clinch work, needs the gut out, dirty boxing. He's gonna do some leg kicks as well to stop Ilia. I think as the fight goes on, Ilya's gonna get a little bit more tired and damaged, and he's gonna leave himself susceptible. And one thing with Charles is that he doesn't have to take down Ilia to submit him. He can just human backpack him and submit him like he did against Dustin Poirier. And I think he has the ability to do that as well. So even if Ilya does a good job stuffing the takedowns and they get taken down, I do think all the other things I mentioned will tire out Ilia and damage him to the point where he can just take Ilia's back and submit him. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Charles Oliveira is going to be your new lightweight champion. I really do believe that, and that's my pick. Could I be wrong? Yeah. I would not be surprised if Ilia wins. And if Ilia wins, I'm happy because I like Ilia. Ilia's a great fighter, fun, exciting, good for the sport, good for the UFC. His style is fun to watch. But I just think Charles is going to do it. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I can see maybe Ilia goes out there and lands a nice body head combination that drops Charles, and Charles is hurt badly and just ground pounds him. But I think Ilia in the first round was a success. It might drop Charles and hurt him, but just because you hurt Charles in the first round don't mean you're going to beat him. Michael Chandler in that. I think Charles might get rocked badly in the first round. I think he'll survive, make adjustments, and beat him, and then submit him like I mentioned. I think that's what's going to happen. But yeah, these are my picks. I got Lima, Felipe Lima. I got Dariush. I got Joshua Van. I got Alejandro Pantoja, and I got Charles Oliveira. Those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think. Who you guys think is going to win and why? Like to know how excited for you this card. And I might be doing watch along because I am off this Saturday. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I am, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching and listening. Have a good day, good night. I'll see you next time. And stay safe, and thank you.